you've known me the longest.
Yeah, because San Francisco.
Yeah. Um,
I remember San Francisco. You, Bree, myself, and all the queens, and Jimmy Somerville was dancing, and you had a whistle. You always had a whistle, it's like because
it
we
was
knew where
house
you were then.
music. It was the house music.
I always had a mirror. I always had a mirror, and you always had a whistle.
Uh,
Oh
um,
my god, that was fun.
uh, so I just want to welcome you to Vintage Gay of Age and
I
Value.
love the name.
Hey, hey, you're gay. Aging is a privilege.
I love your shirt.
Um,
I want one. Boom.
someone, oh, I made one that says Vintage Club Kid.
It was perfect. I love
And
it.
then look, in Club Kid Manor, I ran out of C's, so I took white house paint and made one.
Well, it wouldn't be a club kid without that little DIY touch, darling.
So it's so funny. It's like I woke up and I thought about you, and I was like, oh, he's known me the longest since the beginning. Like and
Yeah.
three, my best friend, rest his soul. I think I met you at the stud or called the stud,
Yes.
and Astro was there, and he had horns. And so
Well, the
I
funny
think
thing
I
is,
met you and Astro on the same day.
at that time I was working. So the way I met Astro was I was working at a clothing excuse me, a clothing store named Bola on Haight Ashbury, and like the Bengals would come in and shop, like all these, Haight Ashbury, San Francisco characters. And then Astro worked at the salon next door doing hair. So that's how we became. And that little bitch, I had an audition for, I was with some agency there for commercials, and I wanted to get like, my little bleach touched up, and she purposely turned me in a little orphan Annie and made it like bright orangey red. And she's like, "Ha ha, you look better like that." And I'm like, I should have known, but
Evil.
but
I love him. And
oh, I live for him. I live for both of you. I love y'all.
yeah, that he put when I moved to New York, he had got there first, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted my hair done, and I handed him pipe cleaners. And can you put these in my hair? And he did these squiggly things with pipe cleaners.
I feel like I know those photos, and like they're like antennas, kind of, right?
I don't know where they are. We had box cameras. Like found cell phones. I would
Of
go out with a box camera and I would lose it.
course, and then somebody somewhere has it, baby.
Yes. And yeah, it's crazy. I,
I'll make you feel better. I had like literally like 35 to 40 box cameras. And then later on during like Heatherette days and all that, I found them in storage I had. I'm like, I'll drop them off and see if they can still develop them more. Well, then I went away, like to not prison, but to like LA from New York. And I forgot all about them. And then I went back there like, oh, you never picked them up. It was way later. And so somebody could do a coffee table book if they're smart.
thank God for Misa and Zach. Like if they weren't
Oh,
there, like
Zach has all
we
my
would have
archives.
no pictures without Misa and Zach.
Actually, exactly. And actually, Zach said, "Oh, I was telling him like he's in Hawaii, and I call him Heather Zach, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm doing Little Kenny's podcast. I'm so excited." And he's like, "Oh yeah, he called me to get your number."
And I had it in my phone, but I was like,
You're like, it's not going to
didn't know if it
work.
was still the same one. And I think your phone number has lasted the longest of all of ours.
You know why I've done that, because even if people that I don't know, that like how it goes, it grows, like this person gets it, and blah, blah, blah. But the reason is like during part of my life, MTV sponsored my cellular service. So, and it was like a sponsor gig. And but the thing is, every other month they would change my number, but I wouldn't know. Unbeknownst to me. So then people thought I was disconnecting all the time. But I
Oh,
finally figured, but nobody told me that. So then I was like, wait, I need to keep my number. Like, so it's been this one. Well, the one you have.
I Googled you and
Oh, don't
I
do it.
no, it's so good. It says designer, TV personality, figure skater, actor,
Oh yeah.
author,
Ooh.
and 90s club kid. I was like, oh,
Hey,
she is
It's funny. I was about what, like maybe 3 weeks ago. I went to Little Nas X see the record release at the Box, and super crazy rainy night. Anyways, Amanda was there, Laporte, and the next day we were in page 6 under Anna Wintour, like, but it said '90s Club Kids.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it. It's gonna be like stamped on our graves, like
But
boom. I'm
honey, it is because I get that too. Like, oh, she was a 90s club kid.
actually Google just did this thing on people in Hollywood. And it's saying that Gen X was way. I didn't even know what we are, but it
What
said that
are we?
I guess Gen Cuckoo, but like or Gen Glitter.
I am so down to be Jen Cuckoo with you.
But they had like Chloe 70 on the front page, the first page of the article, and then Winona Ryder and like all that kind of crowd, and it was so cool. Like, and I'm like Chloe was a '90s club kid.
Yeah. I remember when Limelight reopened, there was a picture of it and it turned into a mall. And it was like
Oh yeah.
it was me, you, and
Oh no.
James.
Yes.
James.
I
And
got tricked. I was living in Chelsea at the time when they opened it as a mall, but I didn't know. And don't ask me how I didn't find out. But uh, so my friend like kind of tricked me into. He's like, "Oh, we're going to the opening at the new Limelight." I'm like, "Well, I have I have something else to go to." Well, oh, we'll just stop by. Well, anyways, all the news cameras were outside, and they're like, "Oh, Richie Rich, you're like a '90s club kid. Welcome to the Limelight again." And I'm like, "What?" And then turns out I was on the news. I walk in, it's a mall. It's like Ralph Lauren and Jelly Bellies, and I'm like, what happened? I walked by it a million times.
stained glass. I think me and Jenny went. I was like, let's go get a coffee in the mall. And she was like, so we went. And it was like all the glass. I was like, oh my God.
Unbelievable. I love
Uh-huh.
it.
It's so funny because now it's part of pop culture, but
Yeah.
when everything happened,
Well,
uh,
yeah.
it was like I remember trying to go get a styling gig or do something, and I had just tried to get sober, and so I was like, I think I was like 90 days sober, and they found Angel's body, and I was
Oh
like,
God.
and I went to go look for one, and there was like a clown can't be a stylist, and I was like, huh? And so
Yeah, you're like
like such a
Flo.
negative thing at that time.
Yeah.
And then
Excuse me.
what is beautiful is two things happened that changed it, I think. Because I kept working and simultaneously or very close together, I think it was Pat did Sex in the City and you did
Mhm.
Heatherette. And
Ah, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I think that those things, because even back then they were like, oh, you worked at Pat's and it's for strippers and drag queens. Yes,
I mean,
but
come on, Britney
and
Spears,
you're a club
everybody.
kid.
Where do you think the Spice Girls got all their looks? They would come in there with
Yeah,
Danilo hair and
honey.
Danilo, and of
It's
course.
it is. And so it was like it was not I think they used it against
Oh
the,
yeah,
the interviews.
it took me
Now it's
time.
like now they
It
can't
took me.
argue it.
Oh, now I mean, look at the whole everybody. And I remember it's like it took me a while to. I kind of didn't listen to the noise because you can't. But then it took me a while to like I got everything from like, oh, were you part of the the all that and meaning the murder part, the bad stuff? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, we tried to help our friend and our friends and like uh and I remember James St. James, I think you were there. We are all Club USA, and I remember and Amanda and we all had this conversation like, who's gonna care about what we're wearing in the '90s? Like we like the '80s, the '70s, like looking back, like at what they wore, and then now it's all like '90s fashion and like early 2000, like it all. I guess it does all come kind of around.
If you had to look back, besides you, when you look back, and besides you, who would you say, um, like me and you excluded, who would you
Mm-hmm.
say had a complete 90s look that you would sit there and go, oh, that's a club kid look?
Oh, for sure, Astro, Jenny, and Carlin. Boom.
Astro, Jenny, and Carlin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had the really like what Coachella wasn't yet kind of down, but like in a next level kind of way though.
Yeah.
Like
Huh?
oh for sure. And
I would
yeah, and
say,
then
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and who do you think? Same or different?
Well, I would say, like, I like the punk clown kind of thing. So I would say
Yeah.
you, Walt, Desi, and Astro.
Walt Desi. Oh yeah. That's hard to
And
it's
then
hard
and
it's hard
then
to
I would say Jenny was the superior one to me. Like,
I mean, I remember sitting with Jenny at the Limelight, and she was like pouty, and she's like, I have to do like the Gautier ads or the NARS ads after she did Gautier. I said, do you understand what that
yeah.
is? She's like, I don't care. I'm like, you're like a face of a slut and the Calvin, all of it. Like,
Girl, she was
and
on a bus going
she
by
was
in
on,
a bra.
yes. I mean,
I was
come
like,
on. Remember, she was like this with denim skirt on the bra,
uh-huh,
like
uh-huh,
piercings in her cheeks, and
uh,
yeah. But Pat with Sex and the City at the same time. You're right. I went to David LaChapelle. He was our studio was parallel to where
yes.
our little Heatherette ice cream shop studio was, and I went over. I showed him like the lookbook, and Zach really taught me how to create a lookbook because he was PR at Diesel,
Yeah.
and I never made a lookbook. I was the lookbook, and you were,
Yes.
and all of it. So David freaked. And next thing you know, we're doing a shoot with for Vanity Fair with the model of she's still around, Carolina Kokova for Vanity Fair, and Pat calls me, and I had gone to Japan with Pat to sing with Sushi, and I put Richie like this on my shirt and glitter, just Richie, because they called me Litchi the first time I went there, and so we're having like Japanese food, and Pat's smoking at the table, and she goes, "Hey, make one of those shirts, a Pat, and then make one for Carrie." And I go, "Who's Carrie? Don't worry about it." So I go to her Christmas party back in New York, and I give it to her, her shirt, Carrie's shirt, and sitting with David Lee Roth on the bed. You were probably there. And then a week later, she calls me, and I'm at David's LaChapelle studio, and she goes, I did it. I said, did what? She's like, I got it on Carrie. It's going to be ads and billboards around the world. Sex in the City, Carrie. I said, oh, I didn't even like, and they went. Trevor and I went to LA, and oh my god, it was like on Sunset Boulevard, just Carrie, and she's like, she was supposed to wear Prada. But yeah, I love Pat. Oh my
So
god, we all
good.
do.
Who was your favorite, I guess, guest for Heatherette? Like, who was the,
Oh, I just saw her not too long ago at her book signing. Meanwhile, the cameras are all following her around. She's like, "Bitch, do you realize we know each other for 25 years?" And I was like, shh. And it's Paris Hilton because I met Paris actually at Pat Fields, and she was Carolina who was doing the desk and Sushi, and I saw this really pretty blonde girl. She was 15 at the time, and she had a pile and you were probably there too. She had a pile of boas and garters and sequins and stripper, and I think her mom, and she won't. I think I've told her this. I don't know if I forget if she remembers. I'm sure she does. But I think her mom cut off her credit card because her mom didn't want her buying that stuff. And little did we know the empire she'd become. I had faith, but yeah. And then over the years, and then she'd come over to our apartment when Heather was born at Pat's. Suzanne Barsh, I was her assistant, and she's like, one day she's like, "Oh, you're fired." And I said, "Why am I fired?" She's like, "Because you're going to be a designer like you are, but you're going to really be sell it at Pat's." And then that started, and then Paris would come over and play dress up, and over the years, same
how many
thing. And
years did Heatherette go on for?
99 to just about 2009, 10 years, and then
Okay.
I put her on vacation, and then kind of did other things, and actually I'm actually going to go, I think, to Montana not far from now, maybe like July. And yeah, Trevor's there doing his the horse ranch over there for a little while. And yeah, there's Richarette that's going to boom. And then I am going to do something with Trevor as a Heatherette resurgence kind of
Okay.
vibe.
All
Not
right.
sure exactly when yet. It's going to be fun.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's
And
always fun.
who walked? There was Pamela Anderson. She walked with
That
you.
that wasn't Heatherette though. So with Pam, I met Pam at the Playboy Mansion with Suzanne Barsh, and I had bunny ears. We all did. Amanda, like, in my roller skates, I rolled around in the what do you call it? Those little cavernous pools. There's a name for them. I can't remember right now. And I think my roller skates almost rusted. And that's where I met Pam, and she was great with David LaChapelle. And then over time, knew her with David, and then I created a line called A Muse, and because she was a muse, and then we started in New Zealand Fashion Week, and we did for a year like a tour like everywhere with the line. It was bathing suits, t-shirts, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was fun. Pam was a hoot.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like the wittiest person I ever met. Like really, like I mean,
Really?
oh yeah, she's smarts. And but then Kelly Osbourne walked. Naomi Campbell a few times, and when she showed up because of Patty
Naomi
Wilson's
Campbell
stylist,
is the
yeah.
most beautiful person I've
Oh
seen
my,
in life. Because some people just look good, really beautiful in pictures.
oh yeah, no, she's beyond.
She and so nice.
So
Like
nice.
so nice.
That's what people don't
So
understand.
nice.
Yes.
So nice.
And sweet and nice, and if
Or
she she adores you, she adores you. Like it's amazing. Like we adore her. And when she came on the runway, it was a surprise. And actually, she was at Radio City Music Hall performing for like walking for Usher as he performed. And I knew she was coming, and I had this star dress like in silver like lucite. And but she was still on stage, and Patty Wilson, stylist extraordinaire, she was texting Patty, and she's like, "I'm on my way. Don't start the show." But we were the last show in the tents of Bryant Park, and the fire department came because it was crazy. And so Paris walked in that one, and then Amanda. But so at the end, I just put the star dress on Paris. Well, no, first I sent Paris out, and the look she had on, it's all neon. She was gemming the holograms. And then I put her out, and I put Amanda out with a bouquet of roses. And I said, Amanda, just throw the rose petals out because Naomi's late. We were stalling. And it was Rock and Roll High School, the song, because the theme was high school. And so Amanda's going around throwing rose petals and going like this. And nobody knew why she's doing this because we're waiting for Naomi. And then you see Paris, and she's like, and then she goes, why are we stalling? I said, because Naomi's coming. That was backstage. And you see Paris bend over to like on the runway to the audience at Sticky Hilton, and she's like, Naomi's coming. And you kind of read her lips. And all of a sudden Naomi shows up, runs. I put the star dress on Paris because I thought after she went off the runway, I ripped it off Paris. I stuck it on Naomi. Laurent Philippone is like brushing her hair, and then all of a sudden she just walks on the runway and she's like, "Pow!" And the whole audience, I mean, our audience, the crowd, our peoples, they stood up because I think with Heather Red, they didn't expect supermodel magic like that.
magic. Oh my God,
Magic.
it's so good. And I mean, and she legitimizes things too.
Oh, be
You know
amazing.
what I mean?
Ethically magical for sure,
Yeah.
and to everything.
Who as a like because we were in New York a long time and did parties in different places. What was your favorite place to do a party or your favorite party?
I mean, that's like who's your favorite child? You know what I mean? Like that's a hard one. I mean, I've fond and loving and happy cuckoo memories of like Limelight USA with the slide and the tunnel, and I mean, I think club wise, I loved them all. Webster Hall, Palladium, I got a little taste of it, and but I have to say, like Bowery Bar on Tuesday nights, B Bar, I loved because it was more intimate. We weren't per se hosting it. We were just there, like all of us, and it was a Kiki in the East Village, and
Yeah.
that one I really loved because it wasn't so like on. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were naturally on, but I mean,
Yeah.
and but that was a good one, and I at that time I tried to explain to people that weren't around then, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so jealous." It's like the jealousy part is you should be jealous because it's when there was no rules, as you know, like it was like the kids from Brooklyn Avenue X and Madonna's over there and Duran Duran's over there. It was the supermodels.
Yeah.
And then us freaks like running the show.
It just everything from like a piano bar to whatever we were there. Like I think my last night drinking, I think shout out to my favorite drag queen, Lady Bunny. I think we took
Love.
see
I just did a this past summer. I did a Steve Madden commercial with her. Like that was we were on a fake subway, and it felt like real. And Mickey Boardman from Paper.
she
But sorry, I
her
mean
and
to cut
I
you off.
went and you were I think you were there and Michael and a handful of clowns were at the in this under basement and a whole bunch of like Italian men were playing were playing roulette and like cards.
Oh,
It was like a gambling
I remember that
yeah.
place. And they when we walked in, they all turned around like married to the mob. Yeah, I don't know
Very
why
good. And it
Michael
was
found that place. I don't know how or
I don't
why.
know how we found it or why we went or who was really invited, but we went
Nobody.
and they had drinks. It was fine.
Oh yeah, I
And it
think
was 5 in the morning.
yeah, I was gonna say it was an after hours. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The
But
weird thing is I remember everything. It's weird.
we went to places like that, it is. But
Oh
I
yeah,
have to say, like you said, ground zero was probably Limelight because that's
of
where
course.
where I think we all I liked makeup room as a small room. And
Yeah,
when Walt and I did the little paper gallery at Limelight
that
upstairs,
was amazing.
that was fun. And we got to invite our friends and put our work on the wall. and no one was
Yeah,
paying attention. Everyone was drunk at midnight, anyways. But
but it was amazing.
fun. I I think like my favorite aesthetically is when they reopened Tunnel and you guys did I think the main floor.
Oh yeah, it was called Home, and it was like
Yes.
a big silver door, and then we had a rope in front of the rope. You get in the rope in the club, and then the rope to get into our little room. It
Yeah.
was just like a studio apartment, even smaller, and with beds.
It was so good. That and me and Walt and Bunny did the bathroom, and they put it
Yes,
right in front of the bathroom. There's 25 stalls,
but
so you have a fucking coke addict in the
that
bathroom.
wasn't just that wasn't just a bathroom. That was like that big old round bar with the DJ in the bathroom, and it was
And
unisex for
on one
genderless.
side, you had 25 stalls of just like toilets, and then you go to the bar, and there's a dance floor, and then you go, and there's 25 urinals lined
Yeah, it
up.
was like a club within the club of the bathroom. Oh, the
Yeah,
things that went on.
so big.
Sophia Lamar, and Amanda, they all told. I mean, there's so many stories about that bathroom. Like,
Yeah, bathroom was fun, and there was one couch.
oh yeah, they didn't want you to sit there. Maybe a toilet, but
That was my favorite place to host.
that was incredible. I did many a photo shoot there. That was for Project X. That was fun.
Oh, so good.
Zach would take.
Ooh, Zach has those pictures. I hope Zach comes out with a book. I hope he's
He's
Zach.
and he'll kill me, but he's working on it. Ooh,
I hope he gets backed. I hope he makes money. And some
yes.
people say, "Oh, I don't want to make money off of it." Everyone else is. Someone that was there.
Oh, everybody's made money off of us like crazy. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's nuts.
I hope he
And
does.
oh
And
yeah, it'll be good.
he deserves like he was
All
there.
of it. I mean, he was a club kid. I mean, like he.
Yes.
I remember when I met. It's a long story how we met, but we met actually through Donald Simrock and our friend Chad in San Francisco, and then uh, they kept telling me you're gonna love Zach Augustine. They all grew up in Nebraska together, and then yeah, the minute I met him, we became besties, and then roommates. That's where Heatherette was born on the living room floor. He actually named Heatherette because we're listening to Grace Jones' "Warm Leatherette," and this girl from California, my friend, was cutting her hair. Her name's Heather, and she kept calling. He's like, "Who's Heather?" And he goes, and he's like, "Are you gonna call your line Richie?" Rich, I said, and he's like, "Heather, we're drinking red wine." Heather, and oh, I made him bedazzle his shirts. He's like, "Heather, warm leatherette, Heatherette, that's it." And I went to Women's Wear Daily and Vogue, and they're like, "We love it."
We
It
love
was
it.
crazy. We love it.
I'm gonna ask you some questions really quick, and I think we're gonna wrap it up because the we've been I realize we've been talking almost half an hour.
For real? Oh,
Yeah,
girl, we could talk for a day or two.
exactly. It is so it's like it's like seeing an old friend from college. We went to clown
Yeah.
school together.
We went to former clown school together.
We
Not even
did.
all.
I am okay with the word clown. Like I like clown.
I love clown. Oh my God.
Uh, and everyone's out, oh, don't say that. That's not, it's flattering.
But when you are what you are, you're allowed to say it. And if somebody
Yeah.
else says it, I love it. Like, yeah.
Clown
Oh,
pony.
people actually would ask me like, so like, other, whether it's Heather Red or other brand things I've created or whatever. And where's your business card? I'm like, you're looking at it. So Heather Red, we kind of got forced to have them just because meetings and stuff. So I put one of them. I put Dream Catcher Clown. They're like, aren't you the head of this thing? I'm like, yeah, Dream Catcher Clown. Like, there you
It,
go.
what year did you get in? We met in San Francisco and
Hmm.
we did the first party I ever did was with we recess and
Oh
lady
yeah.
and Delight came and
Oh
you
yeah.
me, and Ken Brown and that's where I got my name Little Kenny because Ken Brown and I lived together and people would call for
Oh.
Ken and Kenny and they were like who are you
You know
calling
what?
for?
I'm so happy that you just taught me that because I was always going to ask you because I just thought you were cute. You're little.
No, I was little but Ken's
Yeah,
6'1", Ken Brown
that makes sense.
and so they would say on the phone, "Are you calling for Little Kenny?" And so me and him hosted, and so it was Kenny
Right?
Brown and Little Kenny and Kenny to the second power or some shit like that. I don't know. Some it was house music days,
Hey,
and and you were there, and I remember
yeah.
I I was like, Oh, this is fun. Like
Good. I thought it was boom.
it was so
Yeah.
much
So
fun.
Danilo, I was working at a hair salon on in Snobby Hill, Russian Hill, and Snob Hill. Anyways, in San Francisco, and Danilo was in town from New York because he's originally from the Bay Area, and he's like, "Oh, can you leave work and help me like airbrush some wigs?" And unbeknownst to me, it was for the Too Funky video for George Michael, and
Oh,
then Delight was in town, and their record was just coming out, Grooves in the Heart, and all that, and so Kier had like coffee with us at Cafe Flor that was like in the Castro, like fabulous. And
that's my favorite place.
she had incense and she was full on cure that Danilo, styled her and everything. And the whole troupe was there. And Dimitri and Toate, and then she's like, I'm gonna go to La 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 La, Haight Ashbury, where the hippies are. And then and then I won a contest, Style Summit, to I
Yeah.
guess represent California or the Bay Area at San Francisco. And then Michael was like, I didn't know Michael, and but they in advance told me that Julie Jules and Ernie Glam. I didn't really know who anybody was. That's why it was so great that you and Bree were there, and Sophia and Astro, and I was in my own little head at Colossus and other clubs in San Francisco and doing that thing. And so the truth came out. I was talking to James St. James recently, and he's like, Michael didn't discover you in the club scene. He's like, I did. I'm the one that saw you. And he's like, Michael, you need to get that kid here. And then that's what happened. And then, yeah.
And Julie Jules.
And Julie Jules, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how the rest is all
Or
history.
didn't she go to San Francisco
Yeah,
to go to?
Ernie and Julie came, and I had a big treasure chest on my head, and I was on the balcony for the contest. And I just threw a bunch of money into the crowd, and I took the treasure chest off, and she put crown on me. And she's like, "All right, you won." I was like, "Yay!"
That style summit was so fun.
So much fun. Oh
It
my
was
god!
so fun. A
But
lot was born in that time.
a lot. Oh gosh! And then I'm so happy now that Parker Posey's on White Lotus. Like, you remember she used to kiki with Zaldi there, and all the time, and then Party Girl. I think she just did. I mean, everybody was there. I remember in high
Who
school,
was your
everybody
favorite that you met? Like, who was the nicest celebrity?
in all of it and all.
Yeah, like
Um,
give me three that just showed up and were around and just
we already mentioned Paris. I have to say, I love Mariah Carey, a doll. Kelly Osbourne, I love. Anna Nicole Smith was amazing. That's three. But Boy George, when I worked at Benetton in the mall in high school, this queen I worked with was really mean to me. He's like, one day I'm going to be Boy George's best friend. And I was like, that's great. I love him too. But, and then I ended up doing a clothing collab with him for Heatherette. And George, I mean, when he was on Broadway, he would just hang out with all of us, and I let him. Now he's on Broadway again. But, so yeah,
what
I
about
you know,
that came to like the clubs when we started.
oh,
Um,
it's funny because
'Cause
in high
that's the
school,
Heatherette time.
yeah. So in high school,
Like
actually,
in
no,
New
I
York.
actually first met George in San Francisco after high school, like when he was doing his TDD kind of vibe. Hare
He's my
Krishna.
favorite, by the way. Like he's
Oh,
so nice.
major,
Like
so great. And he like appreciates what we do, who we are, and yeah. But then Duran Duran, like they were in like concert when I was in high school, and my whole school ditched, but I couldn't ditch because I was figure skating and I had a competition the next day, and they're all calling me like loser, and I'm like, you'll see, I had an agenda, I had a plan. I didn't know what it was yet, but so then I remember sitting with Duran Duran like 2 nights in a row after the Madison Square Garden shows at Club USA, and our our thing was through uh, Bruce Lynn, bless his heart, the publicist, was to take care of them. So I'm sitting with them all, and they were so nice. Simon Le Bon, Nick Rhodes, and I'm like, I'm not that person, but I'm like, where are those high school people now? Like, but I don't know. I love Parker Posey, of course. There's so many we met. Back to Lynn Evangelista, I love. Kate Moss was great. And then later in life, and Naomi. I don't know. There were so many that were just so sweet. Alicia Silverstone was great.
yeah.
She was fun.
I
And
I think who was it? It would
re-
be Lady
refresh.
Mister, Lady
Which
Miss
one?
River,
Oh, of course. Oh,
Lady
Kira's given.
Mister,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Bjork, your buddy Bjork. Hello.
Bjork, Kylie Minogue,
Kylie. Boom.
and Naomi and Boy George. Like Boy George and Naomi were like so nice, and I was young and dressed like a clown. You
Well,
know,
they loved
I
it.
would see them in different places, and
And
they,
George discovered Naomi when she was in ballet school, like on a stoop in London.
oh wow,
So yeah, they go
So
way back.
crazy.
Put her in a
Yeah.
video, and I remember Iman used to be. Later, I did Project Runway for Canada, but way before that, like Limelight Club USA, she would come and she'd always take our Polaroids. I'm sure she has you as well. And she's like, "Oh, David likes to know that I see when I go out. He loves all you club kids." I'm like, Bowie, he knows who we are. What?
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, he's on a picture on all of our walls,
Oh, we got like a.
somewhere in glitter.
And I'm sure some of them look like him back in the day. Oh
I
yeah, I love it.
I don't know. I look back fondly now. Like
I do
I
too.
go, oh, it well, I mean, it was really fun and self-discovery and find it like because my Mormon father said, if you put all the freaks and fags on an island, I found it. It was Manhattan and I lived there. Like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
And I'm lucky that I made it out alive, you know?
Oh my God, I have these conversations, not even voluntarily. People are like, "Wow, you're doing your thing. You look great." But I mean, we're lucky though. We kept our spirit, and like my mom always told me, don't let people break it and
Yeah.
or try to steal it. And I mean, a lot of the good ones just didn't,
Yeah.
you know,
So what's next
persevere.
for Richie Rich?
Thank you for asking. So, Richarette, I'm going to do a pop up shop in July in New York, and it's called Art for Wear, WARE, and the woman and the girl that runs it, she's a Kiki, and her name is Wear, and it's like art and fashion you can wear, and like and so we're gonna do a fun party pop up in July, and then actually it's in Port Authority, which I love because it's all these
Oh,
windows we're gonna do, and you don't expect it to be there. That's why I love it. And
I
they have
love
one down in the new trade center as well, and
wow.
and then I'm working on a. My friend's been following me around with a scissor reel, and for a scissor reel, and so I'm gonna do like a docu series, kind of something. You have to be on it and in it, or reality. I don't know, something like that, fun. And and then I've been writing a book, so I'm taking my little time doing that. There's so much to say for fun.
I believe that in my heart that if there is someone to write a book that's about, you know, that time, I think
Right?
that it would my thing would be you, Jenny, and Walt already did it,
Yeah, I love his book. Mm.
you know, and I think Desi would be good too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, he was one of my. His style transcended as well. I mean,
Yeah.
he went on to work with Marc Jacobs, who we love, everything.
Yeah. It-
Yeah, and then I'm in Woodstock right now with my friends. I'm working on some new music for the runways, like really fun. So just creative. It's like oozing.
yeah.
You go
You
like,
know what really I think is silly? Um, I was like, why don't they get on Richie for Gay Pride? Like, you should
oh
be
right.
like I don't know why Levi's or someone didn't grab a hold of your
I
gay
was so
ass.
close to doing something this June, and then I ended up like just I'm creating all this stuff, and then yeah, and I'm like, I really should just maybe I have to reach out to people. Maybe they think because a lot of people tell me I'm unapproachable, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I talk to like the
No.
mailman and the garbage
Yeah,
person, and the superstar or the everybody to me is a
yeah,
star.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
and like I can't wait to see it because I've seen the evolution of you. I've seen you in New York when we
Mm,
were in our early 20s, and then
right.
in New York, and then Heatherette, and then Richette, and then like I can't wait to see where it goes after that. The
Thank
journey
you.
is cool. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I got my popcorn, bitch. I'm just watching. Like I am here for the whole show.
Oh, please. Your stories alone.
And the funny thing about both of us is like we were like the town sissy with glitter shooting out of our
Oh
ass
my God.
at 6 years old, and like in a time of AIDS. So like, girl, we
Yeah.
wanted to hang out with us because we would gay them up.
Oh
We're
yeah.
like, oh, we can't because you'd make us look gay,
Oh,
and
do you know? Oh,
we were gay.
oh, honey, we even know we were. We were just walking cartoons with, and people are like, "Oh, I love your act." I'm like, "It's not an act. Look at us now." And like, yeah, I mean, I remember even in New York, like remember when the Limelight was the gay section was separate, and Mark Berkeley, bless his soul, like Michael and him would fight, and then he was
Uh-huh.
nice to me, Mark Berkeley, but he wouldn't put Amanda and myself, any of us, in HX the magazine or Next.
No,
And then suddenly the gays woke up and like we no longer were a threat. And then we were on the cover of those magazines. Like it's crazy.
it was so crazy. I I I don't know. It just was such. I don't know, I think we found ourselves, we found our
Oh
people,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it was nice. Like
Yeah, amazing.
yeah, and living at Hotel 17 and
Oh my God, that's a whole nother book.
that's a whole nother book. Me, you, Astro, Amanda. It was like, and
Oh my God.
we would go out dressed up, go to our different places that we
Anna, I talked to
did.
Anna yesterday, blonde, beautiful
Oh,
Amazonian Anna model. Um, yeah, I mean,
it was
Hotel
fun.
17 was wild. Boom.
We were lucky to see New York at that time.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
We were
it was like
so
a
lucky.
precious gem that was untouched.
Yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I will forever have a fondness. Now, the drug addiction that I went through,
Oh,
stuff like
yeah,
that, I don't. I'm like, oh, because it was fun, and then fun with problems, and then just problems for me.
right. Yeah, no, I hear you. Like,
Now
I
it's
mean, it,
different,
yeah, I mean, I mean,
but
that, the drug,
I wouldn't change a thing.
yeah, you can't go back
Yeah,
and whatever. And I mean, I was a loser because I didn't do drugs because I saw it all in the skating world, escapades. And
yeah,
when I was on tour, and I'm so hyper, you're hyper too, but it's like I don't know. I just kind of was like,
yeah,
and but everybody's like, well, you're a club kid, you
yeah. And
know. And
Amanda didn't either.
yeah, no,
No, it
Vicky
was
either.
And look at her, honey.
Grr,
Uh,
brr, brr.
my favorite thing that pops up on my Instagram because I'm not on it. I'm like an old woman, but every time I turn it
Right.
on, there's Amanda, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Mad.
it's
I
just,
mean, I keep saying magical, but that's the word I think of. Like, I
oh yeah,
do.
she, yeah, she just brings joy.
Totally.
Joy.
Exactly.
All right, I love you.
Well, I love you.